If you are planning to drive in the UK in 2026, stop right now, because the rules have changed, the fines have gone up, and thousands of drivers are already getting caught without even knowing what they did wrong. Whether you are a new driver, an expat, or someone who has been driving here for years, there are critical updates to UK driving law and auto insurance that you absolutely cannot afford to miss. Stay till the end, because the last point alone could save you thousands of pounds. Welcome back to US Driving Law Updates and Auto Insurance Rules, the channel where we break down the most important driving laws, insurance changes, and road regulations so you are always ahead of the curve. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we drop fresh, up-to-date content every single week that could literally save your license, your money, and your life on the road. Today, we are going deep into the UK driving landscape for 2026. What has changed? What is being enforced harder than ever? And what your insurance policy may no longer cover if you are not paying attention. Let's start with speed cameras, because this is where most drivers are getting blindsided in 2026. The UK has massively expanded its network of average speed cameras, and these are not the old-style fixed cameras you could spot from a mile away. These are networked systems that calculate your average speed across entire stretches of road, sometimes spanning 5, 10, even 20 miles. You could be doing 32 in a 30 zone for a sustained distance and receive a fixed penalty notice in the post before the week is out. The minimum fine is $100 and 3 points on your license. Do it again, and you are looking at court, a potential driving ban, and a fine that can reach $1,000. Now here is where it gets expensive. If you get points on your license and you did not inform your insurance provider, your policy could be voided. That means if you are involved in an accident while your policy is technically invalid, you are personally liable for every single penny of damage. This is not a hypothetical. Insurance companies in the UK are getting stricter with data checks, and they now cross-reference DVLA records more frequently than before. So if you have received points recently and have not updated your insurer, do it today. Let's talk about phone use behind the wheel, because this law was tightened in 2023, but is still catching people in 2026. Using a handheld device while driving, even just to check a notification at a red light, carries a $200 fine and 6 points. 6 points. If you are a new driver within your first 2 years of passing your test, that means an automatic license revocation. You go back to being a learner, and it does not stop there. Courts can impose much higher fines if the case goes before a magistrate, and your insurance premium after a conviction like this can double or even triple overnight. Here is something that many drivers do not realize. Dashcam footage is now being used against drivers in the UK more than ever before. Other road users, pedestrians, cyclists, and even other drivers are submitting footage to police portals such as Operation Snap, which is now active across most UK police forces. If your driving is caught on someone else's dashcam, tailgating, aggressive overtaking, using your phone, jumping a red light, that footage can be submitted, reviewed, and used to issue you a fine or summons without any police officer ever being present at the scene. So even when you think no one is watching, someone almost always is. Now let's get into something that is going to affect a huge number of drivers, the ULEZ and Clean Air Zone expansions. In 2026, clean air zones are not just a London issue anymore. Cities like Birmingham, Bradford, Bristol, Sheffield, Newcastle, and Portsmouth all have some form of low-emission zone or clean air zone in operation. If your vehicle does not meet the required emission standard, typically Euro 6 for diesel and Euro 4 for petrol, you will be charged a daily fee just to drive in these zones. Some of these charges run to $9, $12, even $18 per day. If you are driving into one of these cities regularly for work, that adds up to hundreds of pounds a month. And here is the insurance angle. If your vehicle is registered and you are claiming business mileage or using it commercially, some insurance policies require you to declare zones where you operate. Failure to do so can create complications when making a claim. Let's move on to electric vehicles, because the rules here are changing fast. The UK ban on selling new petrol and diesel cars is still officially set to come into force in 2035, but the infrastructure and legislation around EVs is evolving right now. In 2026, there are new requirements around EV charging point accessibility, updated highway code guidance for EVs, and specific insurance clauses that apply to electric and hybrid vehicles. For example, some standard comprehensive policies do not fully cover damage to EV charging cables, home charging units, or battery degradation-related incidents. If you drive an EV and you have not reviewed your policy in the last 12 months, there is a real chance your cover has gaps you are not aware of. One of the most underreported changes in UK driving law right now involves learner drivers and motorway training. Since 2018, learners have been allowed on motorways when accompanied by an approved driving instructor in a dual control car. But many people do not know that regular drivers accompanying learners on non-motorway roads have expanded legal responsibilities in 2026 under updated guidance. If you are a supervising driver and the learner is involved in an incident, your own insurance can be affected, especially if your policy does not have appropriate learner-driver supervision clauses. Now, a very important point about whiplash and personal injury claims, because the rules changed dramatically with the Civil Liability Act and the OIC portal, and this is affecting how drivers interact with insurance after accidents. Minor whiplash claims are now capped under a fixed tariff system. This means if you are involved in a collision and suffer a whiplash injury, the compensation you receive is significantly lower than it would have been 5 years ago. But here is what many people do not know. If the other driver was uninsured, your claim goes through the Motor Insurers Bureau, and the process is longer and the payout often lower. This is yet another reason why having the right level of comprehensive cover and uninsured driver protection on your policy is not optional. It is essential. Let's talk about the highway code updates, particularly around vulnerable road users. Since the 2022 Hierarchy of Road Users update, drivers are legally expected to give way to cyclists going straight ahead at junctions when the driver is turning. Failing to do this has led to a significant increase in at-fault accident decisions, meaning the driver of the car is being held responsible even in cases where the cyclist may have also made an error. This directly impacts your insurance claim record and no claims bonus. Understand the hierarchy, know your responsibilities, and drive accordingly, because the liability framework has genuinely shifted. One final thing on auto insurance: telematics, also known as black box insurance. In 2026, this is no longer just for young drivers. Insurers are increasingly offering telematics policies to all age groups as a way of keeping premiums down. But the data these devices collect is detailed: acceleration, braking, cornering, time of day, speed, and location. If you drive in a way that your insurer flags as high risk, your premium can be adjusted mid-policy. More importantly, in the event of an accident, this data can be shared with investigators and used to determine fault. Know what your black box is recording, know your policy terms, and if you are on a telematics policy, drive as if everything is being watched, because it is. So there you have it. Everything you need to know before you drive in the UK in 2026. From average speed cameras and clean air zones to EV insurance gaps and black box data, the road has never been more monitored, more regulated, or more expensive to get wrong. Knowledge is your best insurance policy, and you just got a serious upgrade. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. It genuinely helps this channel grow and reach more drivers who need this information. Drop a comment below and let me know which update surprised you the most. And if you have not subscribed yet, do it now, because the laws keep changing and we will always keep you one step ahead. This is U.S. driving law updates and auto insurance rules. Drive safe, drive smart, and we will see you in the next one.